and he like whoops her ass with it. And then after that, it shows that they're like taking a bath and he's like taking care of her, like being like a good boyfriend after he literally beats her ass with a fucking hairbrush. And then she's like, thanks for taking care of me. And then the episode literally ends. Like, what the actual fuck? Hey yo, what's cracking like on my community today? My name is Londyn and welcome back to my channel from New York. What's poppin'? So you seen the title to the thumbnail. Today I am talking about episode 3 of The Idols. So the episode starts off with Tedros waking Jocelyn up and he's like, hello Angel, let's go shopping. Instantly the next scene goes on to them being in this convertible. Leia is driving the car and you know, they're in the back seat, both of them. They're making out, they're doing some nasty stuff. Tedros is, you know, eating her out in the car. And they're going to this designer store, and when they arrive at the store, there's a bunch of paparazzi there and a bunch of fans there. So they get to the designer store and Tedros is literally picking out every single outfit and having her try on all these clothes. He's looking at different articles of clothing and being like, no, that's trash. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, this with some heels. Oh yes. Like, he's literally going ham on her outfit, like choosing everything that she's going to wear. And there's this guy there, he's a stylist, and he's trying to help Jocelyn try on some outfits and stuff. And Tedros is like, let me catch you looking at her again. Let me catch you looking at her again. Let me fucking catch you looking at her again.
Let me fucking catch you looking at her again. I'll fucking drag you down, Rodale.
I'll fucking curb stomp you. Cussing him out, and it's the funniest scene ever. Just cussing this dude out for doing his job. Next scene comes and Leia is on the phone with Haim and she's telling him that she does not have a good feeling about Tedros, and Tedros is like completely taking over control of the house, telling Jocelyn what to wear. He's moved in, he's eating her out in the back of the car. He's completely out of control. That's what she's saying, and she's really scared for Jocelyn. And while Haim is on the phone, Destiny's inside the car, Haim's outside the car, and Haim's like, gun. And then literally Destiny grabs the gun, cocks it, and then gives it to Haim and he puts it in his pocket. I'm like, I told y'all Haim's into some mafia shit. Don't fuck with Haim. I told y'all though. So next scene goes, this is probably a scene that happened before they were shopping. There is Leia and there's Isaac, aka Chocolate Golden Brown. So it's Leia and Isaac and someone else there. Isaac is like, okay, so when Mike Dean, aka Kanye's producer, comes in, where are we gonna set up? And Leia's like, I don't know, I'll have to talk to Jocelyn about that. Tedros is like, you may not know this right now, but I'm running the show now. She's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, but I still have to talk to Jocelyn. So after she says that, he makes like the craziest face. He's like, this is the episode where all the memes have come from. So HBO has Abel say this disgusting slur. He says the R slur. He's like, Leia, are you freaking R slur? What did I just say? I said I'm running the show. And Leia looks scared. Like, she looks like she's about to cry. So it cuts back to the scene where they're shopping and Leia's on the phone with Haim. Jocelyn's still trying on different outfits. Again, the stylist is trying to give different clothes to Jocelyn, and he's like, yeah, let's have her try this one. And Tedros is like, no. Are you sure? No. And then he leaves, and then Tedros says under his breath, fucking bitch. And that just kind of shows his like aggressive, abusive side. It's kind of giving like, I abuse women, I abuse everybody and everyone. So that's kind of scary. It's a little... So the scene goes back to Leia talking to Haim, and she's saying that like he's brainwashed her and that they're being forced to shop. And then it cuts back to the scene that was in the past. It shows that this guy, Andreas, he asked Jocelyn if the probiotics worked, and she shows him her stomach, and he's like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. He starts feeling the abs, and Tedros is there in the background watching, like all angry and stuff, and he's like, hello, Andreas, maybe you shouldn't grow up, my girl, you know, boundaries. Long story short, he goes on to say he needs to show some respect, and he slaps him hard. Tedros slaps Andreas hard as fuck. Everyone in the room is just shook. Everyone just completely goes quiet, and he's like, get the fuck out. And then Andreas is like, no, I only take orders from my boss. He's like, oh, her? All right. And he stands next to Jocelyn, looks at her until she says, sorry, it's just not gonna work out. And then Tedros is like, leave. So he manipulates her into literally kicking her friend out of her own house. Her house. And mind you, Leia is sitting right next to Jocelyn. She's looking at her like, really? While Leia's on the phone telling Haim like what he's doing, like he slapped this guy, like he's eating around in the back of the car, she's scared, Haim gets a call from Andrew, and Haim's like, hold on, Leia, let me call you back. Haim answers and thinks things like, are you trying to kill me? Are you trying to let my kids grow up without a father? Haim's like, why would I want that? And he's like, Jocelyn is not making me any money. Jocelyn is disappointing me. Jocelyn is giving me IBO, something like that. Then it cuts to the next scene where it's Jocelyn and Tedros, they're cuddling, whatever. Jocelyn's like, why do I picking out clothes so much? Tedros is like, I just need taste, that's all. Jocelyn's like, well, what do you mean? You think I don't have taste? He's like, you do now. Jocelyn's like, you know what I think it is? I think you're gay. He was like, I ain't gay. And it cuts to the next scene where they're doing it in the change room. So it cuts to the next scene where Haim's still on the phone with Andrew and Destiny's still in the car. Andrew's talking about she's not making any music, she's trying to throw away World Class Center, blah blah blah. And then Haim has Destiny play Jocelyn's song on the radio, so that way Andrew's not mad that she's not making any music. Haim lies and said, oh yeah, we just laid down 2 new tracks. Haim literally has Destiny pretending to be her voice, like just to fool Andrew. So now they're literally inside the change room and they're full-fledged doing it. Like there's sound, there's movement. Tedros is trying to put ejaculation juice inside Jocelyn, and she's like, nah. And so she like bends a certain way to get him off of her, and he has to finish his business in the change room while she's sitting outside the change room having a drink. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? You could literally hear Tedros in the back moaning, like giving himself, yeah, you get it. And after that, he's like, let's get the fuck out of here, and they leave. Like, really? In the dressing room? Next scene moves on. Leah drives everyone back to the house, and Haim and Destiny are there, and they meet Tedros. Haim meets Tedros and Destiny, and they all meet at the front. So Leia pulls up in front of Destiny's car. Scene moves on next. They're in front of the pool. They're talking about the music that Jocelyn produced together, and Tedros goes on to say, he's like, yeah, I know you guys are killing that song, the song he's referring to that they made together, but I'm really thinking about adding choir to it. I think choirs would make it really good. Tedros, he's just trying his best to make himself look like he's a good dude, but really he's a fucking asshole. And then Haim is like, well, what do we owe this good pleasure? I mean, you're such a good producer, like, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from here. Like, oh, you're from LA? Like, yeah, I'm from Hollywood, yeah. So obviously lying about where he's from. Like, he may not really be from LA, he might be from somewhere completely different. Destiny's like, oh, like, what, you're from Hollywood? No way, me too. And then she asks him what school he goes to and where he went to, and he lies, and he's like, I wasn't really the best in school, so, you know, I kind of dropped out, Destiny tried to ask more questions, like, oh, come on, like, you can't tell me what school you went to? Jocelyn's like, why are you trying to make him feel bad about him dropping out of school? Destiny goes on to be like, you got kicked out of school? I got kicked out of school too. And then Jocelyn's like, well, what for? And she was like, beating fake ass bitches' asses. And she might have been for real, like, she on to him. And then Haim goes on to say, like, oh, so you're gonna be here for 2 weeks, like, what do you guys plan on doing? Like, what's your plan? And Tedros is like, well, since I'm an amateur, I brought in Mike Dean. Like, you're familiar with Mike Dean, right? And Haim was like, am I familiar with Mike Dean? You know what, y'all just keep doing what you're doing, blah blah blah. You know what, I like him. They're really just faking it, saying, oh, they like him, but really they don't like him. Yeah, so Haim is like, listen, can you focus with this guy? And she's like, yes. He's like, okay, because nobody fucking believes in you right now. You gotta know what's at stake here. Nobody fucking believes in you right now. You have to focus. So Haim's like, okay, so you got Mike D, let's go ahead and get the fuck to work. I need 3 hits in 2 weeks. Not 3 songs, 3 hits. So after Destiny and Haim are done with the conversation with Tedros, they walk back in the house. Leia's sitting there and they're like, we love him, he's perfect. And then when they both sit in the car, they're like, yeah, our girl's in trouble. And Destiny's like, my mama said never trust a dude with a rat tail, and she will definitely be right because Tedros is crazy. And then after they both leave, once again, Tedros is eating Jocelyn out. Okay, he's devouring her, and Leia is literally inside the house sitting on the couch right where the window is, and she can literally see everything they're doing. It's like he's purposefully doing it in front of Leia to make her uncomfortable, which is like really weird. So the scene goes back and forth in between Jocelyn cuddling and Diane practicing the dance for World Class Center. Another part of the scene shows Jocelyn, Isaac, and Skinny Dipping Girl practicing a song on piano. Chloe. So Skinny Dip Girl is named Chloe, so I'm gonna call her Chloe now. So Chloe and Jocelyn are sitting at the window still having a conversation, and Chloe asks, like, so why don't you sing about your mom? Jocelyn was like, I don't think people would be interested in that, you know, like, I feel like the more you let people in, the more they have a reason to not be in your life. Chloe goes on to ask Jocelyn, was it hard when you lost your mom? And Jocelyn's like, yeah, like, she was sick for a long time and I was there when she closed her eyes, but sometimes I feel like she's still here, almost like she's still in the walls and the windows and the mirrors. Next scene shows Tedros and Xander talking on the balcony, and Tedros is saying that the creative direction for Jocelyn is fucking trash. And Xander is like, I don't disagree. And then Tedros is like, you don't disagree? What's with everybody in this industry fucking hating what they do? Xander's like, welcome to the music business. Xander goes on to say, yeah, I mean, we're fucking forced to be cookie cutter and, you know, manufactured, but when was the last fully bad girl? Tedros is like, so if you had full control, what would you do? And then he said, we would take the ejaculation juice picture and make it her album cover. Tedros is like, that's a good idea. You wanna do some coke? Like, he just has no chill whatsoever. So next scene shows Isaac singing a song. He is singing excellent. He is singing his heart away, and then he stops in the middle of it. He stops himself. He's like, I don't like that take. And like, while he's singing, like, Jocelyn and Chloe and all of them are like looking at him like he could really sing. And like, Jocelyn's talking about, I just fell in love with you just by looking at you. Isaac is like, well, if you like it, you should sing with me on this next one. Jocelyn's like, no. And they're like, no. She's like, no. And they're like, if Tedros heard you say that, he would literally kill you. And Jocelyn's like, why? He said, Tedros is not liking when you say no. If you say no, that means you're denying yourself an experience, which is like, Leia was not wrong when she said he has a rapey vibe. He low-key does. Long story short, they're saying that this singer had a son who was 5 years old and he died. But then after that, he wrote the greatest love song of all time and it helped so many people, blah, blah, blah. And then Jocelyn goes, well, I think if he had a say, he would choose his son's life over writing a song. They were saying that his son had to die in order for him to write that song, so that way it could touch a lot of people's lives. And so that's why they say yes to everything anyone asks them to, because it could be an opportunity for a certain thing. I don't know. It's hella weird what they're doing. So Jocelyn dares Isaac to kiss Ramsey and they kiss. And then she dares Isaac to kiss her. He's like, nah, I can't do that. Tedros would literally kill me. And Jocelyn asks, would you have done that if Leia was in the room? And he's like, yeah, that wouldn't change anything. And she's like, even if it hurts her feelings? He said, moments last forever, not Leia's feelings. And I'm like, this is really some crazy manipulative Tedros shit. Like, so next scene shows everybody is outside at Jocelyn's house and they are sitting at the table and they are having dinner, and Jocelyn stands up to cheers for the inspiration and the love and the music, and she says she's never felt like she's had a family in a long time until recently and blah blah blah, and she's just thanking everybody including Tedros for making her feel like she found her family and blah blah blah. Tedros has Xander tell everybody his idea for making the Come Picture the album cover. Leia's like, no, like, so many young girls look up to you. And then Jocelyn's like, well, everyone saw the picture including those girls, so I think it's fine, you know. She's like, okay, so should I just let the internet use it against me, or should I just let the picture be in my favor? So Jocelyn's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to bring back up the Jizz Jocelyn hashtag. Tedros is like, who gives a fuck? She's like, yeah, well, I just, you know, it's embarrassing. Like, it's just like, I want to be, you know, it sucks. It really sucks. Tedros like, no, what were we gonna say just now? Jocelyn says that she's embarrassed because she wants to be taken seriously as an artist. Tedros is like, why? And she's like, because I want my career to be meaningful and lifelong and not a fucking joke. And then Leia's like, you will have a fulfilling career. Tedros goes on to say, yeah, well, you're not gonna be taken seriously without any risks. Jocelyn's like, yeah, it's easy for you to say when you're not the one taking the risk. And then Xander's like, yeah, but like, you know, it's the right risk at the right time. Tedros is like, there's no such thing as the right risk at the right time. If it's risky for a reason. Jocelyn's like, yeah, but if it's the right risk, then you'll know exactly how it's gonna play out. He's like, that's not a risk, that's just playing it safe. That's what everyone does. Jocelyn's like, why are you treating me as if I don't know anything about the music industry? I've been in this for over 10 years. I'm not. You are. Tedros is like, why are you being rude? She's like, I'm not being rude. I'm just saying. When's the last song you wrote, Jocelyn? And then she says Daybreak, which was like an album from a while ago. And then she's like, I mean, it has to be the right song. He's like, you mean the right risk? She's like, yes, I mean the right risk. And then Tedros is like, well, yeah, maybe that's why you can't write a song. You just overthink everything. Xander points out that, like, you care a lot about what people think. Jocelyn was like, I wouldn't have a career if I didn't care what people think. Tedros like, I think if you care too much, then you don't have a career as well. Tedros makes a good point here though, because he says that you're so worried about making superficial music because you're worried about superficial things. I'm like, that's honestly a good point. Jocelyn's like, I don't think there's anything superficial about making music that connects with people. Tedros is like, why not just be yourself? And then she's like, because there's nothing relatable about me. Tedros is like, are you sure about that? And then Jocelyn's like, okay, what do you think's relatable about me? He's like, I don't know, the dark shit you went through. And then he literally forces her to talk about about how her mother treated her. I'm gonna just summarize this whole part. She goes on to say that when her mother was really sick, she would take it out on her, and she was very abusive. Like, she would beat her up with a hairbrush, verbally abuse her, like she'd make her work out and eat less. She was saying that her mom was basically her motivation because she was always down her throat about stuff. She's like, do you miss it? Do you miss the motivation it gave you? And then she's like, yeah, I miss the motivation it gave me, but not the abuse itself. And so Tedros took that as, yeah, that's my ticket to be able to abuse her so that way I can motivate her as well. After Jocelyn tells her sob story, by the way, in front of this whole table of people, he makes her talk about her life story in front of all these people at the table. After she's done telling her story, there's a next scene where Tedros gets the same hairbrush that Jocelyn was talking about her mother abused her with, and he like whoops her ass with it. And then after that, it shows that they're like taking a bath and he's like taking care of her, like being like a good boyfriend after he literally beats her ass with a fucking hairbrush. And then she's like, thanks for taking care of me. And then the episode literally ends. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, this has to be the craziest storyline I've ever heard from any show ever. And it's like, did you have to whip her with a hairbrush like her mama did? There was no other way to motivate her? Alright, y'all, but that's it for today's video. Okay, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to make a thumbs up, subscribe for more. Also, turn on my post notifications. That way you get notified when I upload twice a week, boo. I also have social medias that will be linked down below. Okay?
Okay.
I love y'all so much. You don't even know, and I'll see y'all next motherfucking video, okay? Peace.